I'm Ruby from the Useful Journal. For a little while now, I've been using this little booklet from Midori to create some simple spreads that anyone could manage to put in their journal, and I give step-by-step instructions as I go. I've got a title page, I've got an example of a calendar future log, I've got a Scrabble themed setup, and I've got a puzzle themed setup. What you'll see about both of these is that they're based on a square, and I've chosen a square because anyone can draw squares, especially when there's dot grid. So continuing with that theme, I've got another easy weekly layout that also uses the square as a base. So there will be two variations on the theme. The theme will be tiles, and they're good because they're a repetitive pattern. So once you've worked out what you're going to do, then it's a bit simpler to do them across the whole page. I've got to allow room for the boxes for the days of the week, and I also am planning to do it spreading from a very simple design through to a more colourful design. The simple design I will just do in black micron pen. It's a very fine one, 01. And then I will spread through to using these 5 colours, kind of retro type colours here. I want my squares to be, I think, about 2 centimetres. I could go with a 4 centimetre square, and that way it's probably easier to draw, but I think tile patterns look a bit better when there's more of them. It'll be a bit more work. So I'm going to go with a 2 centimetre square, which from the edge I then have 10 centimetres. I'll do 8 boxes, I think, and they'll be 5 centimetres wide each. And then I've got 2 centimetres at the top, so I'll do 2 centimetres from the bottom, which is to this line, and I will do another 10 centimetre line at the bottom here. And then I have 14.5, so I'm going to have 7 and 7 with a gap in between. It's not ideal because I then have to show the tiles in the middle. So I think I want to avoid that, and to avoid that I'm just going to go 1 centimetre lower at the bottom, and we'll work out the tiles around that. We can extend onto this blank undotted part of the page. So let's then draw the line 1 row, or I could draw it 1 row higher and make them 7 centimetres each. Let's do that. So that, and then we've got this here, and I'll use a line here. We're going to just have a blank bit in the middle of the page, and I'll have a line here, and halfway is 7. Okay, and do the same on this page. Okay, so you get the idea. I am actually going to draw that straight in pen so that I don't have to rub it out then. So let's go straight into pen. Just be careful because micron pens do smudge a little bit, but something I have mentioned before with this journal is it has a very fast drying time of 2 seconds, so there will be less smudging than is usual. Never press hard with a micron pen, because when you press hard, it's got a very delicate, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a very delicate tip, and if you press too hard, you will push the tip back inside the metal bit, and then you'll have to throw out your pen and start again. I learnt the hard way with my first set of micron pens and had to throw them out, and they're not super cheap, so that was a bit disappointing. And it is very easily avoided by just pressing softly. They're a gel, no, not a gel pen, they're an ink pen, so they're free flowing, so it's not going to be hard. Like, the ink comes out no matter how hard you press, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so these are our days of the week. Now I have 8, of course, so that means I'm going to have 1 spare box. People use the spare box for all sorts of things. You can use it for habits, you can use it for just call it next week. You could just call it notes, which is probably, I think, what I'll do this time. We'll do the tiles first. We've got 4 from the top and we've got 8 from the side, so we know there's going to be a tile here. Okay, so that's our tile size. As you can see, quite a few of them to draw. Now, the design is going to be, I've been playing around with a few ideas and I'm going to go with this one. First of all, we have a line, a diamond. It's probably the easiest point to start. Then we've got a cross in the middle that doesn't quite go to the top of that row. That line should be through those dots. And then we're going to have a cross through the middle. So go maybe halfway between the 2 dots. So we've got a line here, and that's going to be slightly thicker. And then we're going to have a leaf shape out of the end of that, almost to the corner of the square. And then we're going to have another shape out of here that almost touches the line, like that. Don't worry if they're not absolutely perfect. You'll find that as you go, try to get it as neat as possible, and I will use a ruler, but you'll see that, now this is a leaf shape again, you'll see that it doesn't show up so much when there's lots of tiles. Almost to the dot, another leaf shape from the corner, so it doesn't quite touch that line, but it's on that diagonal line, and that's what we've got. I could extend it to right to the edges of the pages, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is do pen, and so my squares are going to be there, there, there. I'm just seeing where they run out. Oh, it goes to there. Okay. So I might do at the top, I'll do pen to this one. So that's pen, and then this one is going to be the markers, and I might do it as a diagonal. So that is going to be colour, and that's going to be colour. So everything that side of this line and this line will be black, and then we have colour all around here. I'm going to start tackling this. I have a little ruler. This came free with a Sequez journal. So I'm going to use the ruler so I get my lines straight. I'm going to rub these out because then there's no chance of the pen smearing and I can see the dots better. It's quite simple. Black line. Hopefully it lines up with your boxes. Actually, I've just realised, because all these are going to be boxes, I can just rule all the way down, remembering to stop before that last line, because I don't know if I'm putting tiles down there yet. And this is the edge of the colour. I just thought doing a plain black pen version First of all, it's good for people that like minimalist design. It's also good if you don't own that many coloured pens yet. It is quite possible to have absolutely gorgeous journals and only have a black pen. So it's okay that my tiles don't match up with the central line of my days of the week boxes because they're doing different things, so it'll make it stand out a bit more actually. It's not a bad idea to start with a simple design that is based on boxes or something like that, because as you can see, they're so much easier to draw. You can use a ruler, you can make sure you get it nice and neat. I want another diagonal on this line, so I can use those dots across all the way up, because you can't see these, but my black lines I've already drawn have obliterated where the dots are. Make sure you stop at the edge of your planner boxes, and I'm going to keep doing that down my page, making sure that I get the right spot. Make sure you don't accidentally draw through the middle of your... I'll show you what we're doing when I go the other way. There is always liquid paper. That is the... Oh, and see, there you go, I'm going to need it already. That is the danger of doing it straight in pen. So I will get my liquid paper tape. I wasn't meant to go through that part of the box. Gosh, I keep showing you guys how to do setups, and every time I make mistakes. I mean, you can see that even if I didn't do the tiles, just these boxes with geometric patterns going through them creates a nice little border around your boxes. Try and get these to match up with the other lines. It'll be a lot neater. I'm being haven't been 100% neat here. Oh, I've done it again. Look, that's meant to be colour. That is not meant to be there. I could slow down, I suppose, and be really precise. I'm not a particularly precise person. I try. Now we have a thicker line in the center of each square. So, but it doesn't go all the way. So what I'm going to do is just line this, just this side of the dotted line. And I don't want to just rule across because it's only in the center of each one. It should be below the line because it's going to be a thicker line. And I'm using the ruler just to help me get everything straight. So that's those lines, and then I can turn it around this way, make sure I get that straight. You want exactly the same length as the other line. Before I colour in, I'm going to do this line. It can cross through because I'm going to be colouring it in. So then I draw the other line. I've done them a bit far apart that time. I might get a thicker pen. This is another micron, a 1. And this is going to solid center. If you did it with your pen, it would just look like this. Colour in the ends, and then just do a few pen strokes to fill it in. So this is just a leaf shape, not quite to the tip. That sits on the end of the cross. So I'll just do these. It's actually a bit easier to get the shape right if you do 2 separate lines instead of going like this is one line, that, see, and I'm a bit off there. 2 lines is going like that and then like that, and it gives you a bit more control over what your pen's doing. Now we have another shape that comes from here. It just goes almost to the line. Oop. If you're someone that has a shaky hand, you've just got to embrace the shake, and your lines might not be as neat as you want them to be. And then from the corner, we've got a leaf shape. It's really therapeutic to do things like this, repetitive designs. Decisions, I think I might leave all of them hollow for the moment, but I am going to colour in the corner ones. See, now that I've got them coloured in, I think it does need more solid lines in the middle. Let's have a practice run on here. I'm just getting it to the point that it's exactly the same as this. Do we colour in that one and then have a line right through there, or do we colour in this one? See, now you just want to colour in all of them, don't you? Do we just colour this one? Could just leave them unfilled. That looks kind of cool. I think we'll do that. So I'll colour these ones. So it does mean we have that line through the middle. Okay, so that's where we've got to. I will finish all the other black and white tiles, and then I'll come back and we'll go through the coloured ones. So I've got all my black and white ones done. So I'll start with outlining the outsides of the boxes. A bit of a thicker line than my pen. Stop before you get to the bottom, or like your page might be different. You may have a different number of dots to what I've got, which means that you may be able to do your spacing a bit differently. Have more rows even, like because I haven't got dots past that line and I haven't got any dots up here, it's harder for me to go towards the edge of the pages, but there is actually room in an A5 to do another 2 centimetre block, because that is just over 1.5 and that is 1. So there's definitely room to do an extra whole row of tiles, but then of course you'd have to decide whether to do a half row and a half row, or have 1 row at the top and 2 rows at the bottom, or you'd just make these longer so that you then only have 1 row at the bottom. Just work out what is going to suit your page best. Use your pencils, have a play and see what you like. My dog has decided that it's dinner time because I've just taken him for a walk, and so he is going to whine non-stop until he gets fed. So I may just stop for a second and feed him so that he stops whinging. It's not even that late. Like, he would be getting, if I feed him now, he'll be getting fed early, but that doesn't stop him because he's got this schedule, and if he's had his walk, then it must be dinner time. If I walk him at 2 in the afternoon, he then decides it's dinner time. So it's a bit annoying, but it happens. So I am just going to duck away for a second and feed my dog. Okay, I'm back. I've used the darker green to do the box outsides. He will now bark because I'm not watching him eat. He's an old dog, very set in his ways. Now I have to stop because it's the corner of the boxes, and then I can start again. You've got to watch with Tombos because they do get darker the more layers there are. So if you are going over what you've done, you will get a darker colour the second time. Then the other problem you then experience is that adding layers, Tombos in some journals will start going through the pages. they are a water-based pen, so I suppose if the journal doesn't coat very well with watercolors, it probably won't coat well with lots of layers of Tombow pens. So I'm just going to do these 4 in the corner here, and in the center. So I'm just going to rule with this one in the middle. It does start, I am going to start running into issues with it showing. See how it's ghosting? I'm going to have to be very careful about going over what I've already done. I'm trying to go next to it. This paper is only 80 GSM and it does ghost and bleed. So just going to be a little bit more careful, especially with the dark colours, and red is particularly bad for ghosting and bleeding. So I'm going to do my little leaf in the corner. 1, 2. Be kind to yourself, because you won't enjoy doing this kind of stuff if you're always worried about it being perfect. Okay, and then we want orange, and the orange is going to be the hollow ones on this one. So we're just doing a leaf shape on the end of the red, coloured in this case. And then I've got the yellow, and the yellow is going to be the bit in the middle there. Nice and bright. So that's what the coloured side is going to look like. And I will go away and do that and come back when I'm done. So I'm going to stick with the calligraphy style. We're just going to do a big July. Try and get see this upstroke? Try and get it at the same angle on those letters. And then I'm going to try and get the curve the same as the J, so that they look similar. There you go, that's pretty close. Okay, now I get my black pen. I can even this out a bit, because I don't have a smooth. And what I've got to decide is whether I want to add some colour to this. I think I'll cut it out first just to see how it's going to look, because I could put it in black and white on the coloured side, or I could add a bit of colour and put it on the black and white side, but I think it'll get lost if it's just black and it's on the black and white side. Can't find my scissors, so I'm just going to use these ones, which are huge. They're old sewing scissors that many years ago started getting used for paper, because paper ruins sewing scissors. I either stick it there, see what I mean about getting lost? You can barely see it. Or we put it here, or I could, it needs colour, really needs colour. Okay, so I'm going to put some yellow around it because that'll stand out the most. I think I might just put it down here. Add some more colour to it. Okay, then I'll just put some glue on the back of it. Gently, gently. Lots of people like using that runner tape. It's like, it looks like my whiteout, but it's sticky tape. There's a couple of brands. It's possibly a bit more gentle. Now I think I'm going to put it down in this bottom corner. And there we have it. A tile design. Now that really, like, it takes a bit of time, but it's not horrendous and it looks pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed that. Actually, the other thing I really like about this is that the black stands out as the diagonals, but this one, because of the colors in the middle, it looks like a starburst. So it's the same pattern, but it looks really different depending on where the color is. Anyway, I really like it, so I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, I used a Tombow Food and Food key pen. I used an eraser, lead pencil, and I had these 5 Tombow pens. It was the 296, 243, 856, the 925, and then this one is the 25. So you don't need a lot of equipment for this spread. I hope you try something similar. See ya.